Hey everyone, welcome to my college football week 5 picks and score predictions of the biggest and more notable games of the week. I apologize, I'm recording this a bit late. It's Wednesday night. I usually try to get this stuff out during the first half of Wednesday, but kind of ran out of time. Was running behind once again. I'm going to try and fix that for next week. Week 4 recap. Week 4 had a letdown week. Not shocking, but I'm still picking nearly with 70% success rate of the games I've predicted on this channel so far for the season. So be sure to subscribe if you want more of the content. But choosing Nebraska was a mistake. I should have known better to pick against Michigan, too. Everybody was on USC. I knew that was a trap. I should have picked Michigan. I was this close to doing it, but it's all right. Auburn, what a total flop they are. Complete trash of a team. I got some choice words on them later. Arkansas absolutely beat them by 10. They definitely controlled that game a bit in their favor, especially with their offensive movement. Got the surefire pick right of the week, Texas Tech. Thank you, Texas Tech Red Raiders, for getting that right. I said they went outright, and they sure did. They controlled that game pretty much. They dominated from start to finish for the most part. And then TCU over SMU. Wow, where did SMU's offense all of a sudden come from? 66 points, ridiculous. And I'm done with TCU, picking TCU games. I'm not touching SMU either. Tennessee over Oklahoma got that, but 5-4. We can do better than that, folks. Let's go ahead and try and improve this week for Week 5 by starting with a very interesting game. Two teams coming off of a loss. 23 Kansas State versus number 20 Oklahoma State. K-State's a 4.5-point home favorite. The Wildcats got blown out at BYU. They had turnover problems, but they still outgained BYU in some yardage. They still rushed for over 200 yards. That is key to remember. Oklahoma State has been very disappointing. No rushing attack whatsoever. I think this team's overrated. I don't trust them, especially on the road here. I like Kansas State to rebound here, run the ball effectively. The three-headed rushing attack with Johnson, Giddens, and Edwards. I still don't trust Avery Johnson as a passer. He's prone to making some mistakes with that. I mean, we've seen it already. But Kansas State at home on a Friday night, I think they get their head right. Now, Oklahoma State could win this game, but, man, I don't trust their defense either. Their defense is complete trash. But Oklahoma State, will Ollie Gordon finally take off? It's possible, but I'm not completely expecting it. Hard to tell where they're going at this time. Next up, this one's very intriguing. We got Baylor versus number 22 BYU. Speaking of BYU, the team that actually beat Kansas State. They've played well so far this year, but, I think this is a letdown spot coming from BYU. I mean, we've seen this before, right? Everybody is literally thinking, why are people picking against BYU? Well, we've seen this happen last year, where a team on the road who we think is better and will win, not being favored. This is one of those spots. Baylor, and I'm not saying BYU is better than Baylor. I don't know. I'm not really the biggest on BYU. They have played pretty decent offense and stuff, but now BYU's got to go to Baylor. Baylor off of a very tough loss against Colorado. Shouldn't have lost that game. But Baylor 3.5. I do not trust BYU in the spot. I think there's a little bit of offense in this game. I do wonder about Baylor, their offensive ways in terms of their quarterback play. Sawyer Robertson, I wonder what happened to DeQuan Finn. I wonder if he got hurt or not. But I think there's going to be some offense in this game. We'll see. I don't know what to expect with this one. The over-under is only 45.5. That seems awfully low, but never know. I feel like Baylor will score a little bit. They've scored over 30 every single game. But BYU, they have been able to slow teams down a bit, but we'll see. I mean, with how this goes, these trends with, again, like I said, with the line stuff and against a ranked team, I usually need to lean with the team that's favored. Vegas knows what they're doing, but only the fifth ever meeting between these teams, by the way. Next up, this one's interesting. We have Indiana, the Hoosiers, versus Maryland. This is a game that is certainly going to feature some offense for sure. Chance for some scattered showers from remnants of Helene. And by the way, I'm wearing a Florida State shirt. Prayers for Florida. They need it. It's going to be bad down there, especially through Georgia and the Carolinas. But IU's a 7-point home favorite. I think that's a tiny bit too much. I'm not going to lie. I think this Maryland offense can honestly cook a little bit. But Indiana, man, they're playing very well. But who they've played? Nobody. And I'm a Hoosiers fan, but you got when you're looking at reality, you got to face it. Indiana hasn't played anybody good yet. Their offense is cooking. I like how Curtis Rourke's been playing. They have one of the best offenses in the country. But Billy Edwards has filled in well for Tulia. Maryland, they did lose to Michigan State. I'm sure some people are kind of not want to be on the Maryland train because of that. I understand it, but Michigan State is a very strange team this year. I think Maryland's going to cover the 7, and I think there's a potential for an upset here in this game, but I like Indiana at home. If it was at Maryland, I'd take Maryland in an upset, no hesitation, but I think Curtis Rourke, this offense, though, in the red zone especially, has been pretty damn good from what I heard, or maybe it was another team, but Indiana's not the most fast-paced team from what I've read either. That's kind of interesting considering how many points they've been putting up every single game, so should be intriguing. I like Maryland to cover the 7 there. So next up, we have a high-scoring game, and why do I do that for? I always forget to at least hide one score. I've been doing that again. Rush, gotta stop doing that. But Tulane, this is a tricky game. I have Tulane winning, but I'm not so sure if I could trust them fully. Let's kind of break it down a little bit. We're talking two programs, two Group of 5 representative teams that have very good offenses in ways. We have Tulane with the duo of Darian Mensah and Makai Hughes with the running game. These two together, especially, have been playing pretty well. Of course, Tulane's receivers. South Florida, Byron Brown kind of carrying the offense a little bit more, I'd say, with himself. But this South Florida offense is also very fast-paced. What's interesting here is South Florida cannot stop the pass, but they do force turnovers. They are one of the best in forcing turnovers. Tulane gives up almost 5 yards rushing per attempt. That's not good because here's the thing. 5 yards per rushing attempt, that's actually pretty decent for in terms of average rushing per attempt. Now, Tulane is one of the better teams in stopping the pass, which is key because, again, Byron Brown, he can throw the ball to at will. Byron Brown did go out of the game with an undisclosed injury against Miami, but he practiced. One of South Florida's better defensive players also finally practiced after sitting out for much of the season. But Tulane, man, home, I don't know, man. This is a tough one. I didn't even change the location either. It's in New Orleans. I thought I did. I could have sworn I did. Oh, my gosh. This is a disaster already. I apologize, folks. You know I hate having errors in my stuff. But it's in New Orleans, not Arlington, Texas. I've just been running out of time, and I've been kind of busy with other things, too. So Tulane to win. I like the over. I also didn't note a surefire pick of the weekend here. Let's go with this one. Let's make this one. I don't know, though, man. This is a tough one. No, we're not going to make the surefire pick of the week on the over because Tulane being favored 5, that's a strange line. Not sure about it. I think South Florida can pull off the upset here. This is going to be a close one. Fun game there in New Orleans. Next up, we have number 16 Notre Dame hosting number 15 Louisville. This one's got a lot of people's attention for a couple reasons. One, Notre Dame should not be favored 6.5, first off. Second off, Louisville beat them by 13 last year. Louisville forced a lot of turnovers. They really slowed down Notre Dame's offense. This time, we're talking South Bend. We're talking Notre Dame's defense being elite. They have the defense to beat most teams, but they have the offense to lose to most teams. It's kind of weird how it works with them, but they cannot throw the ball. They're a very good running team, but they cannot throw the ball to save their life. Louisville, meanwhile, has been passing the ball very well. I will say, though, they did get outgained by Georgia Tech by a little bit, and Louisville didn't look right in that game for a while. That was kind of concerning, but they did slow down that Georgia Tech rushing attack a good amount. So, could we have a repeat of last year? I mean, it's possible, but I think this is a revenge spot from last year. I like Notre Dame. I think Louisville covers. I don't trust Notre Dame laying 6.5. That's too damn ridiculous, and it's stupid. It's pretty much borderline stupid that we're laying almost a touchdown with this Fighting Irish team that cannot throw the ball. So you expect me to believe that Notre Dame's going to cover? I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, it's possible because Louisville hasn't had a test like this yet in the season. This is by far their toughest test in general. So this will be interesting for sure. Next up, we have Auburn versus number 21 Oklahoma. Oh, brother. This game is very strange. Oklahoma is a ranked team, okay? And Auburn has not played good this year. Oklahoma is only favored 2. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Auburn looked like a disaster this past weekend. I don't know why they decided to start Peyton Thorne. He's complete trash. And by the way, Peyton Thorne, buddy, just stop talking. Just stop talking. You know, you want to run your mouth about if you give advice to Hank Brown, maybe you should stay off his phone. Well, I mean, if a player is not diligently paying attention and not being diligent about his craft, then yeah, I'd probably say something. But what do we know? What do we know about the situation? I'm not going to listen to some douchebag-looking asshole who has not played good at all this year. Matter of fact, he's not even that great of a quarterback to begin with. I don't even understand it. Auburn has sucked this year. Their defense hasn't really been that damn impressive this year either. Meanwhile, Oklahoma, their offense is, oh my gosh, Oklahoma's offense has just been hard to watch. It's making my eyes burn literally as we speak, but their defense is what's been carrying over for them. They're going to be starting Michael Hawkins Jr. I don't know, man. Starting a freshman on the road, the Auburn environment is a hard place. It's a hard thing. Great. This matchup has made me start talking stupid now. Auburn is a tough place to play at. But I swear, this Auburn team's so hard to trust, too. Oklahoma is number one in forcing turnovers. Thorne is a turnover machine. They'll probably start him over Hank Brown. I mean, Hank Brown did not do well at all. He threw 3 interceptions against Arkansas. I mean, what else is new? Auburn was literally a damn turnover fest hosted by Arby's. What else is new? I like Oklahoma. You know what? We'll make this my surefire pick of the week. I got Oklahoma covering the 2. We'll take it. Whatever. Surefire pick of the week. Oklahoma -2. Let's go with it. Next up, and oh my gosh, I did it frickin' again. I'm sorry. Don't skip forward. Here's why I am picking Arkansas. And this was probably one of the toughest games to pick of the year so far. It's a neutral site game, and I forgot to change the location. Wow. Folks, so you know what? You know what I did? I put Arlington accidentally on the Tulane South Florida game. I meant to do it for here because this game is in a neutral site in Arlington. Guys, just know that, again, like I said, I hate having mistakes, but let's keep going on. These two are historic rivals in a sense because they used to play in the Southwest Conference for a long time back in the much of the 1900s, pretty much of the 20th century. The Southwest Classic. A&M is a 4-point favorite. A&M is not that good, man. They're kind of overrated. I mean, Wigman might be back, but do I care? No, not really. I mean, Marcel Reed's been playing pretty decently, but his stats are nothing to jump at. Yeah, I mean, they're good, but they're not, like, groundbreaking. Like, they're winning games. Yes, winning's important, but at the end of the day, does this A&M team really, tickle me? Tickle me. This is getting out of control. A&M does not jive with me that much. Their defense is not that great either, I think, personally. We'll see, though. I mean, A&M's defense has been bombed already in the deep. Like, they've gotten bombed deep already. Bowling Green did it already as well. Arkansas, meanwhile, has been a solid team. This Arkansas team's actually underrated a little bit, I would say, but their run defense is honestly one of the better ones in the country. Taylor Green making things happen with this offense. This Arkansas offense can get crafty. They pushed Oklahoma State to the wire. I mean, A&M isn't really a worthy team to be, man. I'm going with the Razorbacks in an upset, man. I think Arkansas is fighting for their coach. They need this win more than A&M does, in my opinion, because A&M, are they really going to be a playoff team? No. I mean, they almost just lost to a MAC school. I mean, at home. Are you serious right now? I know that was a tricky spot. Bowling Green pushed Penn State to the wire, but come on, man. A&M is just completely pathetic. Pathetic, I tell you. I mean, what else is new with this team, man? I think Arkansas is going to give Texas A&M a lot of issues on the ground. Now, Texas A&M's offensive front could be an issue because of Arkansas's defense trying to get around that. But why does it matter, man? This game's going to feature some interesting moments. Close one here. I think neither team's capable of blowing out the other, personally. All right, biggest game of the week, biggest game of the year, top 5 matchup, first one of the year. Let's go to Tuscaloosa for ABC Prime Time, and I think this is where College Game Day is heading. I'm pretty sure of it. Number 4, Alabama versus number 2, Georgia. Georgia's a 2-point favorite. I'm going to keep things short and simple. A lot of people are thinking Alabama's going to win this game. I can understand that because Alabama usually has Georgia's number. This is a little different than that, okay? You know, Alabama, let's not forget, the last two games, they have started off kind of slow, but then they pick it up. I hate teams that start slow because it will eventually catch up to you in the end. Georgia, they had the worst hangover of a game that I can remember. One of the worst ones I can remember at Kentucky. Kentucky is not very good this year, in my opinion. Their defense is solid, but nothing else has really impressed me with Kentucky. But Georgia, look ahead spot. They're off the bye. Everybody and their mother are picking the Crimson Tide to win this game. Georgia's favored 2 points. Analytics like Alabama. Alabama can run the ball well. This Alabama run game is very impressive, in my opinion. Milrow's been playing very good, throwing the ball well, too. This Bama defense has been shutting things down a bit. Georgia, meanwhile, they shellacked Clemson. They have been cruising, especially. But Georgia's offensive line looked suspect against Kentucky. But, again, was Georgia looking ahead? Look, man, and you guys know I'm not a Bama fan, but I'm also not a Georgia fan either. I don't like either team. Don't care for them. I think there's value in Georgia. I really do. It's like a public thing, public fade. Everyone last week was picking USC. Should have picked Michigan. I'm not falling for the same mistake twice. I like Georgia. It's on the road. I think Carson Beck could have some issues. Yes, I think Carson Beck will have problems in this game. But Milrow, against this Georgia defense, he is familiar with it. But you never know. Alabama is not completely invincible at home. They got Kalen DeBoer now as a head coach. What are some things about him we're going to see, in crunch time? He did well at Washington, but we're talking a different program now, so things are different. I want to see how this kind of goes. This can go either way, but there's value in Georgia. Let's go with them. I know I picked Georgia last year to win the SEC championship, and technically, they could have, honestly. They just decided to shoot themselves in the foot for whatever reason. Next up here, this game, the line makes kind of zero sense, honestly. We have number 9 Penn State, number 19 Illinois. Penn State is favored 19 points. What are we smoking, Vegas? What in the world? But then again, though, I kind of understand it, but, oh, man, really? Are we really going there? Seriously? Listen, Illinois is coming off the upset over Nebraska. Congrats to Illinois. They definitely were able to kind of break down Nebraska's defense. Nebraska's defense may not be as good as we thought originally. They kind of exposed them pretty well. But Penn State's defense, I think, is better than Nebraska's by like a mile. But then again, though, Penn State, man, they didn't look too good against Bowling Green. But then Bowling Green, performed pretty decently at A&M. So maybe Bowling Green's good. They're actually a good team. But this 19, man, I don't know, man. Do we really want to lay almost 3 touchdowns against a good defensive team in Illinois with a quarterback named Drew Aller? I don't know, man. I will tell you, I think Penn State wins. Don't know what the score is going to be. I just threw something random. I don't know. This could be a single. The Nittany Lions can win by 1 score. But Illinois on the road, tough environment. I don't trust Luke Altmaier to do it 2 weeks in a row. And besides, it's not like he had a tremendous game. He threw the ball. He did what he was supposed to do, basically. It wasn't like he had like 20 completions for like 200 yards. So, but yeah, no, I don't think Illinois. I don't think Lightning strikes twice for Illinois. I think they're going to lose. I do have them losing by double digits, but we'll see. It all depends on how Drew Aller wants to respond against a good defense. It seems like when Drew Aller has gone up against a good defense, he completely craps the bed. So, there you go. Final game on the docket. This will be a very good game. Hope I get to watch it. Depends on what I'm doing Saturday night. But we have number 25, Boise State versus Washington State. Boise State's favored 7.5. That's, I don't know about that line, man. That's a trap line. It is. And here's the thing, too. Boise State's a good team. They gave Oregon everything they can handle on the road. This is a good team. They can run the ball. They can throw it. Especially when their run game gets going. It's just so hard to stop them. Washington State is all offense and no defense. John Mateer on Washington State is very, very fun to watch. But I think they are due for a loss, unfortunately. Now, we'll see how it goes. But I think Boise State wins a high-scoring game. Washington State Usually in these high-scoring games, minus the one against Washington, they still won that game outright. I did get that one right, but Boise State at home, I think if it was at Washington State, I might lean them, but here in this spot in Boise, I like the Broncos' chances here. Home environment means a lot for this team, I think, personally, especially with playoff hopes being high this year. Right now, I think they are currently in the front running of being that 12 seed of the playoffs, so Boise State cannot afford to lose this one. And they could. I'm not saying Washington State cannot win because they absolutely can win. I mean, their offense is just ridiculous. They will score like that with the snap of the fingers. But I like to think, and this score may be a little bit lower. It just depends. I might be going too high here because what if Boise State decides to just run the ball? But then again, Washington State's defense is literally nothing, so they could probably score at will. But that's all for my picks, guys. May make changes. We'll see. We'll see if I make changes to this. There could be one or two games that have pick changes. I'm not completely final with a couple of these games, but we'll see. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys for Week 6. Also, stay tuned for the Stormfront episodes 8 and 9 are coming within the next week. Got a lot to edit and also film. My next running race is also tomorrow. That's going to hurt, but it is what it is. I signed up for it anyway, so I'll see you guys in the next one, though. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.